So on that, I mean, we've talked about this through last year. He really should not have made it through last year. Like that is the truth.
Correct. Yeah.
And his buyout plus the year before are the reason that he was not shown the door. At this point of this season, I don't foresee a way that you can bring him back. Now, I'm not saying they will fire him. I don't, I've got my opinions on the finances and I know the buyout's big and I understand all that. I think you are spinning your wheels if you bring him back. I understand that people say that, oh, you need to, put more money into NIL and you need to do this, you need to do that. Listen, guys, we ain't losing to teams that are spending more than us. Pitt don't spend more than us. Virginia don't spend more than us. Miami does. All right, I'll give you that one, right? But if you were going 10-2 every year like Mark Richt at Georgia and you just couldn't get over the hump, I can understand that argument. You're losing to teams that significantly spend less than you. And so you've got more talent. If you've got more talent and you're losing games, I think this is the end of the road. I don't think we get an announcement today. I don't even know if it happens mid-season. I don't even know if they do it after the season. Heck, I think they're going to, even with things that Richie said in the first segment, I don't think they're going to lose. I think they're going to win the next 2 games. And so they're going to get to 5-3. If they can get one more win, they'll get to 6-6. I don't even know if that's going to do it. I really don't know who, what the decision that Michael Alford and the Board of Trustees ultimately will make is. But I would love, and we've said this before, right? And everybody knows this is not personal. I think one thing that makes this so weird is like you think about like Florida fans firing their coaches. Man, they have hated Billy Napier and they hated Dan Mullen at the end and they hated Jim McElwain and they hated Will Muschamp. I don't think people hate Mike Norvell. I think they really like him as a person and like all the things he stands for and like what he does. But man, he's just not cut out to coach at Florida State. And I'd love to be proven wrong on that. I'd love for him to go on a 6-game winning streak to win this thing, go 9-3. That'd be great. Yeah, I want Florida State to win every game. I just don't think that is a realistic possibility. And I don't think you're ever going to see, I understand 2023, which I've got thoughts on, happened. But man, there's just been way more good than there's been bad. And in year 6, man, it's time to cut the crap. Like you're just not cut out to coach at Florida State. And that just kind of is what it is.
Yeah, no. So here's what I'll say. Like you and I, TJ, have both had the pleasure of meeting Mike Norvell. By no means are either of us good friends with him or anything like that. I think he's a man of very high character. I think he's a man of very high integrity. His players love him. And he loves his players more than probably most college football coaches do. But with that being said, I'm done. TJ, I am done with Mike Norvell as Florida State's head coach. And I know that I might upset a lot of people, whether it be listeners or people in the Moore Center, wherever it may be. But that's where I am at right now. That is entirely 100% where I'm at. And, when you're watching it, I think you were watching the broadcast and it didn't make it to the game, but they're saying, this is a pivotal game for Florida State and the program. And it was. A noon game against Pitt is a pivotal point in the program for Florida State. That's embarrassing. And that's where we are. And just to see Norvell, just crap the bed, like it's just so frustrating to me for that to happen. And I don't know, like I think it's time to move on. I know what the buyout is. I know what all of that looks like, but at the same time, you're just not going to get any better. And I had people in my mentions all day yesterday because I was very crucial on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And I was very intentional in saying that Mike's not the guy. And unfortunately, and here's the thing, I want him to be the guy. I've met him. My wife has met him. He's been great to us. He's not the guy. And for them to say, well, no, just give him no, there's no more chances. You're in year 6. You just lost 3 games in a row. And, I don't want to steal the credit. So I'll shout out Corey Clark, because I really like him. I know him personally as well. Florida State has had 3 consecutive losses in conference play in the last 44 years. Mike Norvell owns 6 of those.
Hey, I'll get right back to the video, but I do want to give our friends over at Tallahassee Ford some love. Appreciate my buddy Bill McKinney and all the fine folks over at Tallahassee Ford. You guys remember Jonathan Vickers, who played at FSU. He works in the sales team over there. Listen, you may be in the market for a car, you may not, but if you're anywhere watching this video, they can deliver your car to you if you're in the Florida area or the surrounding areas, whether you're in Atlanta or Tennessee or Georgia, anywhere, or Alabama, whatever you're looking for. When it comes to a car, hit up my friends at Tallahassee Ford. They will not be beat on price and they will not be beat on service. It's a one-stop shop. You don't talk to 15 different people. They have a very family-friendly atmosphere there. Take your kids by. They're always doing stuff for kids, whether that's events in town or whatever. Make sure that you hit up Tallahassee Ford. I've got a link to them in the description. You can search their info online as well. My buddy Bill McKinney will take care of you, and so will all the fine folks over there.
That is disgusting. Get him out of Tallahassee.
Yeah, it just listen. I know people will talk about the buyout. I get that. I understand that that's a lot of money.
Money's there. The money's there, Jay. I don't care.
You've got to figure it out, right? And listen, we've had Mike Alford on a ton. At the end of the day, Alfred's the one that signed that thing. Alfred's the one that gave that thing to him. You got to be the one to figure out how to do this. You got to negotiate it with him. You got to figure something out. If Mike if I was Mike Norvell, I wouldn't take any kind of reduction in salary. But at the same time, if I killed something that a lot of people love, maybe I would have the morals to do the right thing and walk away. I don't know. But I wouldn't take it. But you got to negotiate that thing down with him. You got to figure out a way to say, dude, this just ain't working. It's better for you long-term if you're not here either. Right. Because if Mike ever wants another job at anywhere serious, which I would have no problem. I mean, listen, I'm not a Norvell hater. I like him as a person. And I like some of the things he does as a coach, but he's only going to Mike. I will say this, it ain't worth $64 million, but if Mike ever wants to coach anywhere serious again, he can't continue to lose at Florida State. Like he can't continue to tarnish it. So maybe Alfred's able to negotiate something with him. Maybe they're able to figure something out. I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in that, but Alfred's the one that signed the thing at the end of the deal. At the end of the day, he's got to be the one to figure out how to get us out of this thing. Right. That's on him. And, we're going to get more money from the ACC this year and every year going forward based on the ratings. Right now, I think Florida State's second in the ACC behind Miami in television ratings. You're going to make an additional like $10 to $15 million just this year alone in that. I know they don't want to spend that $10 to $15 million on a buyout, but how much Alfred has consistently said, how much further can we fall behind when it comes to the conference stuff? Buddy, it's the same question. How much further can we fall behind by keeping a coach that just cannot win here? Like he can't do it. I know we'll all point to 22 and we'll all point to 23. And maybe this isn't fair to say it, but I had this thought yesterday, Richie. In 2022, you lost to the only 3 teams that were worth a damn on your schedule.
Well, I was going to say, was 2022 really that good of a season? Yeah, we liked the 9-3, the win against Oklahoma in the Cheez-It Bowl. That was great. But was that really
Richie, that year you played 5 straight backup quarterbacks? After you lost those 3 games, you played 5 straight backup quarterbacks. And you dominated them the way you're supposed to. And so I'm not crapping on those wins. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy that 10-win season. You played 5 straight backup quarterbacks to finish the year. Yeah. The FCS school you played, like Georgia Tech had a backup. Miami had a backup quarterback. You got a really good draw there in the second half of the year. And then you remember the 23 year, right? We love that year because we went undefeated and we beat the rivals and we beat LSU to open the year. After that LSU game, this team wasn't it wasn't good, man. I know you were losing. You should have lost to BC, and this Tommy Castellanos is playing for you now. You were down 2 scores against Duke. In a primetime game on ABC, you were down 2 scores to Duke. You should have lost. I mean, you beat Miami by 7, who had a backup in there as well.
Terrible, yeah.
And so you struggle with this Pitt team when you went on the road. So we all think about he went 13-0, and they found a way to win those games. And there's a lot of credit that goes for finding a way to win a game. So I'm not taking all that away. But we think about those magical 10 and 13 win years. there were a lot of flaws back then. That wasn't 13-0 like Jameis went 13-0. That wasn't a 10-win year like Jimbo went 10 wins 6 times here at Florida State. So anyway, I think it's the end of the road. Listen, I'd love to be wrong and Mike Norvell never lose another game at Florida State for the rest of his career. I just don't think that's possible.
Let's just go.
I'm not hiring Jimbo. That's the one thing I'll finish this with. I'm not like, that's not a thing. I talk with a friend every day, probably too much, about how we're not hiring Jimbo. And so let me just put that out into the ether too.
So let's just go there. And I don't want to get our show in trouble with the people in Tallahassee and the Moore Center. Mike Norvell's done, in my opinion. It's not a matter of, when it's going to happen. It's when it's going to happen. I don't think there's any coming back. And yesterday wasn't the one single game, but it's a accumulation of things that have happened over his tenure. I just cannot see a path forward with Mike Norvell. I just do not see it at this point.
Here's a super chat for you from a Miami fan here. Y'all need to figure something out. This rate, UF might beat you. Yeah, I mean, I don't even disagree. Like, yeah, they might. Like, I don't know. That game should probably be played at 11 a.m. on Cartoon Network. Like, that's just
Nickelodeon. Give me the slime touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. Make it like that NFL game they do at times. They're terrible too. We're terrible. Florida scored 14 points on their first 2 drives and then scored 3 the rest of the game. It's kind of like what we look like in the second half. So whoever comes out and whichever team has quit by that point in November is probably who will win. Thank you for the 5 as we continue to bask in our sorrow. Quick reminder as we take off, Sleeper has a free $20 entry for you if you use our code DFNS on their app. Check their terms and conditions because terms of use do apply. But again, you don't have to deposit anything. Just go get your free $20 entry by using our code DFNS on the Sleeper app today.